the UNIFIL in Lebanon really has more of a monitoring and compliance capability, and to ensure humanitarian aid is provided to assist with that. If you look at the UN Security Council resolution of only 6 weeks ago, which renews UNIFIL's mandate in Lebanon, it talks about de-escalation, it talks about restoring calm, it talks about providing stability across the blue line. The UN peacekeepers aren't combatants. They're not aligned with any one party, and they have a role which the international community, and let's remember that 15 member states, so the 5 permanent member states of the Security Council and the 10 others, all agreed unanimously that UNIFIL must remain in Lebanon, and that was only 6 weeks ago.
The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, though, very recently said that the peacekeeping force should temporarily evacuate the border area. Given that hostilities are accelerating, is that likely to happen?
Well, after we saw the events of only a few days ago where UN peacekeepers and UNIFIL staff were injured, and whether it's a direct or an indirect attack on those peacekeepers is a matter to be seen, but UN staff have special protections under international law. They work under the UN Charter. If Benjamin Netanyahu wants to have those peacekeepers removed, it must be done through the Security Council. Now, Israel was party to the original UN Security Council resolution in 2006, which really established UNIFIL and agreed that they needed to be there. The international community is not agreeing with him. They are saying that they need to remain, and he needs to, and the IDF need to respect UN peacekeepers and the protections attached to them.
So the UN Security Council has issued a statement of strong concern over the wounding of the peacekeepers. It doesn't name Israel or Hezbollah. Also expressed, as we just heard, deep concern over civilian casualties, calling on all parties to abide by international humanitarian law. Regina, what line is the UN having to walk here? Why can't it be more forceful in its declarations?
It's the UN. It's still really important that those declarations are made, Ros. They reflect the international community, and that is really important to get out there. Unfortunately, Israel hasn't had a good track record, particularly this year, of listening to any council at all from the UN. You look at the International Court of Justice has made 2 landmark advisory opinions, decisions relating to Gaza, which have been largely ignored, and the UN is not being heeded by Israel. What really needs to happen here is more of a multilateral approach, really. It's shown it already. The UN Security Council has shown it, and as I said, the US has also agreed that UNIFIL need to be there. The respect needs to be shown. Now, pressure needs to be put on Netanyahu and the IDF to respect international law in that regard.
How much pressure can be brought to bear, though?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question, Ros. The pressure needs to continue, and I think Israel's allies need to now start thinking about how much support they really should be giving, particularly now that the attacks are being turned on peacekeepers. The international community should be outraged by this.
But it was a UN resolution, wasn't it, which ended the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah war. Are there calls to revive that agreement, and would that work?
Well, exactly. I mean, the 2006, I think it was Resolution 1707, was the resolution of the Security Council which established UNIFIL. So really, by renewing that resolution only 6 weeks ago, it shows that there is an appetite in the international community to do just that, to bring stability back to the blue line, to de-escalate and to bring calm.
But are there differences between that 2006 situation and now?
Yeah, well, the 2006 situation was in response to a 34-day war. We're not there yet. We could be, but we're not there yet. Perhaps something was learned by the international community, and in hindsight, we'd like to think that that's what the UN is for, to maintain peace and security, as the UN Charter says. So perhaps, the international community is preempting that they don't want another 34-day war. So to ensure that UNIFIL stays there, as has the international community has mandated, perhaps will bring the stability that is needed.
Just to clarify, apologies for asking this, but aren't we there already? It's gone way beyond a 34-day war, hasn't it?
Well, for Lebanon, the severity, we're not there yet. In Gaza, we certainly are, and we're far beyond when it comes to, war crimes and attacks on civilians and breaches of international humanitarian law. I think in Lebanon, we're not there yet, but we could very well get there.